There are certain fighters in the UFC who have shown signs of potentially becoming the next big star in the UFC. So here is 5 fighters who could be the next face of the UFC. Number 5. Max Holloway is the current UFC featherweight champion who started from the bottom and has pushed his way to the top, defeating all of the contenders in his path to win the title. In his resurgence, he has looked nothing but a killer. He has put together an 11-fight winning streak against the best featherweights in the world. He hasn't looked past anyone and is focused on being the best featherweight of all time. In his path to the title, he has almost cleared out the featherweight division, where there are only a handful of contenders left who are emerging as challengers. At the age of 25, he is still developing as a complete mixed martial artist, where I believe he will definitely become a big star in the future. Number 4. Kevin Lee is a top lightweight contender who in a short amount of time has become one of the most talked about fighters in the UFC. At the age of 25, he has had more than 10 fights against the world's best fighters, where he has dominantly won his fights impressively. He is a great wrestler who likes to pin his opponents down and either tries to finish his opponent by TKO strikes or goes for the submission win. He knows how to bring attention to his fights and is definitely a marketable fighter in the UFC. Even though he lost his interim title fight to Tony Ferguson at UFC 216, he is only 25 years old and has so much time to improve the holds in his game and challenge for the UFC title in the future. Number 3. Francis Ngannou is a top heavyweight prospect in the UFC who has sent tremors throughout the MMA world with his violent performances inside the octagon. He has just caused havoc inside the cage, where he has flattened fighters with his crazy power. With only 5 fights in the UFC, he has quickly become the most talked about heavyweight in the UFC. Many are saying that he is the man to dethrone the current UFC heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic, who has also looked very scary in his recent performances. Francis Ngannou stands 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighs around 253 pounds. With these attributes, combined with his crazy performances in the UFC, there is no doubt that if he becomes a UFC heavyweight champion, he will definitely become one of the biggest names in the UFC. Number 2. Cody Garbrandt is the current UFC bantamweight champion who has quickly made a name for himself in a short amount of time. He possesses dynamites in both hands, where a clean shot from Cody Garbrandt will certainly put the lights out. His confidence and his belief in his abilities has helped him conquer great fighters in an impressive manner. Although he may seem like a hothead outside of the octagon, he is a violent knockout artist and has delivered nothing but the best fights so far in his UFC career. At the age of 26, he is still developing as a fighter. Who knows what Cody Garbrandt is truly capable of? I believe the UFC can promote Cody Garbrandt as an exciting fighter, where he will certainly become one of the biggest stars in the future. Number 1. Robert Whittaker is the interim UFC middleweight champion who has rose from the ashes and has surged towards the top ever since moving up to the middleweight division. He's a superb striker who has displayed one-sided dominant performances whilst moving up the middleweight ladder. He has demonstrated in his recent fights that he is able to rise to the occasion and cause massive upsets against world-class competition. His humble and respectful personality, combined with his violent fighting style, can help the UFC easily market him as the next superstar in the future. At the age of 26, he is only getting warmed up, where I feel we haven't seen what he's truly capable of.